Okay, so we are now in scene 3. This is right after the murder of the king. Knocking within, enter a porter that just enters stage. So a porter is someone who controls a port. A port is just an entryway, doorway. So a porter is like the guy that guards a door, the guy that lets someone in. So there's a few things you'll notice here. One, or before we even start, this is not in iambic pentameter. Now the way this version just makes it look like the line's end, but this is not written in iambic pentameter. This is just a paragraph. The porter is an uneducated character. He does not speak in iambic pentameter. The audience would be able to pick up on that. Now, this is one of the least funny plays in all of Shakespeare. It's almost very serious. We've seen a few on the down low kind of jokes, but no real jokes, no real humorous scenes. This is the only on purpose, out in the open, humorous scene in this play. Now, there's a difference between this humorous scene and a lot of humorous scenes in the previous Shakespeare plays. When I say previous, I mean earlier in his publication career. For example, like a lot of the humorous things in Romeo and Juliet, there's wordplay and there's jokes and it's funny, and there's dirty jokes and it's funny. Here, it's funny, but there's ideas. He's making jokes and he's making commentary on the ideas of Shakespeare's world, but also the ideas in the play. So Shakespeare is taking his game to the next level, where there's humor and social commentary or moral commentary all in the same part. So the actor, this is David Tennant. He was Doctor Who, Harry Potter, Jessica Jones, a whole bunch of things. He does a very good job, but he really acts this. He doesn't do it straight. He does it like a man waking up from sleep. It's kind of gross, but it's funny. And here we go.
Here's a knocking indeed.
So the actor is playing him like he's waking up. So this knocking on the door of the castle is waking him up, which means he fell asleep on his duty.
If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have all turning a key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub?
Okay, so a whole bunch of things. Knock, knock, who's there? Supposedly, this is the origin of the knock, knock joke. I don't know if that's true, but why not? Okay, so what he's going to do is going to pretend that he's the porter, he's the gateman of hell. Because, even that porter will be, will get old turning this key. It's taking him a while. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Beelzebub is another name for the devil. So he's pretending, kind of jokingly, like he is the guy that runs the gate of hell.
Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Oh, come in, time. Have napkins now about you here, you'll sweat for it.
So he's going to mention a whole bunch of people that he's letting into hell, like in his head. A farmer that hanged himself that committed suicide of the expectation of plenty. So he made a bad prediction and he lost, so he committed suicide. Here you'll sweat for it. That's a nice way of saying you're going to burn in hell.
Oh, no. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith, here's an equivocator. I could swear in both the scales against either scale who committed treason enough, for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven.
So there's some historical references here that I'll skip, but an equivocator is either someone that lies or doesn't tell the truth or doesn't tell the full truth. So, here's an equivocator that could swear on both sides, both scales, against each other's side. Here's someone that lied on both sides, or who was quiet on both sides. But you committed treason, but you couldn't lie your way to heaven. You couldn't equivocate your way to heaven. It's kind of like a lawyer. Oh, a lawyer's a great liar. You can't lie your way into heaven.
Oh, yes, come in, equivocate. No, no, no. Hey, sir, faith. Oh, here's an English tailor. Come hither for stealing out of a French hills, huh? Oh, come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose.
Here you roast your goose. An English tailor that's making French clothes or making clothes in the French style, or is just not being a good tailor. That's social commentary. He can go to hell too.
No, never that quiet, where are you?
It's kind of funny. Oh, of course the porter of hell would never have a quiet job because there would always be people showing up.
Oh, but this place is too cold for hell. I'll double porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go to Primrose Way to the everlasting bonfire.
So yeah, I'll devil porter in it no further. I'll stop playing this game with myself. The everlasting bonfire. That's a nice way of saying hell. And then Porter opens the door to Macduff and Lennox. I think Lennox has been on stage before. I don't know if he's talked. And Macduff, we haven't met Macduff before. He's another Thane, like another warrior. But when he opens, he says, I pray you remember the porter. That can mean two things. He's a porter, remember the porter, please tip me. Because I'm opening the door for you and you're rich and I'm not. Or it could mean, oh, the porter to hell? Hey, remember it. Because you might be going there. You might be meeting him. Now, let's do some symbolic stuff. This man is pretending to be the porter of hell. Meaning that the castle is hell. Why? What happened in the castle? The murder of a king. One of the worst things possible. This place is hell. It's kind of like Shakespeare telling the audience in a humorous way. Alright, back to the porter.
I pray you remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
So, was it so late, friend, ere before you went to bed that you lie so late? Did you go to sleep late? That's why you're waking up late?
Faith, sir, we're carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
So, that's a rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, they wake you up in the morning. Actually, we were awake, way too late. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things. I was drinking alcohol, and it causes three things, so he's going to make a joke.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him. Makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in his sleep, and gain him the lie, or leaves him.
Okay, so let's walk through that, because that's actually very funny. So what three things does drinking cause? Nose painting, sleep, and urine. So nose painting, red noses. Sleeping, fall asleep, and urine. You go to the bathroom. Lechery, sir, that's desire, lust. It provokes and unprovokes. It makes desire go up and down. It provokes the desire, but takes away the performance. He means body sexual desire. It makes you have a lot of desire, but it makes you unable to perform. And he'll make a joke about that shortly after this. So that term equivocator, either a liar or deceiver, we'll just go with deceiver. Therefore, much drink is said to be a deceiver with lechery, with lust. It makes him, and it mars him. So it mars his ruin. So alcohol makes someone strong, but really kind of ruins him. It sets him on, it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him. And this last one is funny. This is the same joke in Romeo and Juliet. It makes him stand to and not stand to. He means sexually. His male reproductive organ will stand to and not stand to because of alcohol. In conclusion, it deceives him in his sleep and it gives him the lie, leaves him. So a pun here is actually also the same pun in Romeo and Juliet. It lies with him in bed. Meaning, yes, lies down, but also lies to him. Lies about his abilities and his confidence and whatever. And then Macduff makes a joke.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
Oh, yeah. Drink gave you the lie last night. I think he means the lie down. Yeah, it knocked you out.
It did Sal had a very throat on me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometimes, yeah, I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
Okay, so it's actually pretty funny too. I think being too strong for him, I was too strong for the alcohol, though he took up my legs sometime. He made me fall down. Yet I made a shift to cast him out. I cast him out the alcohol, meaning that he urinated or he threw up. He took me down, but I cast him out in the end. I won in the end. And Macduff is done with this. Like, is thy master stirring? Thy master is Macbeth. Hey, is Macbeth around? I'm knocking on his castle. And then you see, enter Macbeth. Now this is, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the murder of the king.
Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slept the hour.
So I was the alarm clock. He commanded me to call timely on him. Is he awake yet? I've almost slipped the hour. I've almost missed the appointment to wake him up.
Bring you to him.
I know this is joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labour we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
So Macbeth leads Macduff to the king's chamber. Oh, you want to see him? He's still sleeping in here. Macbeth, of course, knows what's happened. Macduff exits. Now, Lennox, that first line is a syntax. Goes the king hence today. Hence is from here. The king goes from here today. Yeah.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
Okay, so Lennox talks about the natural world last night was crazy. The night has been unruly. As we lay, our chimneys were blown down. The chimneys, of a house, were blown down. That could be exaggeration, or he could literally just mean it was really windy. There were screams of death in the air, prophesying. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. That's probably the owl. There were owls out all night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake. There was an earthquake. So remember we talked about the great chain of being, that nature will reflect in the actions of these characters that are high in the rankings of the chain. Yeah, the king is murdered or is about to be murdered or gets murdered, and the earth reflects that. It shakes, it rumbles, it rebels. And then Macbeth, in one of the great all-time understatements, "'Twas a rough night." There was literally an earthquake, and you're like, "Oh, 'twas a rough night." And let's continue.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Horror!
Oh, and then Macbeth enters.
Horror! Horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee!
What's the...
So we know what Macduff has seen. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive or name thee. I can't even say what I've seen. And Macbeth and Lennox, Macbeth being dumb. What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
So he's being very figurative here. Confusion has made his masterpiece. That's personification. If confusion, if chaos were a thing, this is his masterpiece. This is his masterwork. He's comparing now the king to a temple. The temple's been broken open, and the life of it has been stolen. He's dead.
What is it you say? The life?
Macbeth is like, what is it you say? What do you say? You say what?
You, His Majesty.
Mean you, His Majesty, and other syntax? You mean His Majesty? They still don't really know what he's talking about. And then Macduff will say,
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves.
So you go look, and you'll see a Gorgon. And so that's an allusion to Greek mythology, something that will freeze you, turn you to stone. Like, you'll see this and you'll be stunned. Go take a look. Macbeth and Lennox exit.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason. Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm! Awake! Shake off this downy sleep death's counterfeit and look on death itself. Up! Up and see the great doom's image! Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
So he gives the warning. Things of note here. Shake off this downy sleep. Death's counterfeit. Counterfeit is fake, like fake money. Sleep is the fake death. And look upon death itself. Look upon real death. Yeah, that's kind of cheesy. As from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites. There's a syntax and a simile. So, like sprites, rise up from your graves. Like sprites are spirits. So everyone wake up like spirits. Bell rings. Enter Lady Macbeth. And like Macbeth, she's gonna, play dumb too.
What's the business? That such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house. Speak! Speak!
Yeah, why are you making this noise?
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell.
Now, that's actually quite hilarious. So remember we've talked about Shakespeare often will do this thing, and the same in most of literature. Women are way more pure, way more kind, way more gentle, way more good-hearted. They are not capable of terribleness, and that's why Lady Macbeth says, unsex me here, make me like a man. Macduff, O gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. What I can speak, it's not a thing that you should be able to hear. The repetition, the repeating of it in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. This is something so terrible that if a woman heard it, she would die from it, or she would faint from it. Women are not like strong of character or strong of heart or something like that. Little does he know about Lady Macbeth, but let's continue. Now Banquo enters.
Oh, Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Whoa! Alas! What? In our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Say it isn't so. You've heard that before. Cliche. He's just being shocked. Now Macbeth and Lennox, who went to check on the king's dead body, have come back.
I but died an hour before this chance. I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead, the wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
Okay, so Macbeth is being over the top, exaggerating, but the things he's saying are very interesting. They'll be very important later on. Had I but died an hour before this chance, if I had died an hour ago, I'd lived a blessed time. I would have lived in a blessed time. I would have had a good life. Because from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. Life is not serious anymore after this. All is but toys. Everything is a joke. Yeah. Real life has no meaning anymore because the king is dead. So he's being fake nihilistic here, where nihilism is the belief that life has no meaning, life has no purpose. He's saying now, after the king is dead, life has no purpose. If only I had died before this happened, I would have been happy. And then enter the king's sons.
What is amiss?
You are. And do not note, the spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped.
Now that's a really cheesy line. What's amiss? You are, and do not know it. You're amiss, and you don't know that you're amiss. Oh, that's awful. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped. That metaphor, it's like the King Duncan, he was the fountain that supplied the water to your line, to your blood, and he has been stopped. He's been killed.
The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered. Oh! By whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood, so were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Okay, so, oops, I missed that. He's just reporting on what he saw. The guards were there, covered in blood. We found them unwiped, so there's a syntax upon their pillows, the dirty, the bloody knives. No man's life was to be trusted with them. They stared and were distracted. Yeah, that's because they were probably still partially drugged. But let's continue.
Yet I do repent me of my fury that I had killed them.
Wherefore did you so?
Okay, so Macbeth just reveals something else he did. Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury. I repent of my anger that I did kill them. I killed them. So he killed those two guards. And then, wherefore did you so? Why did you do so? Why did you do this thing? And then Macbeth says, well, we know the reason. It was because if they questioned them, they'd be like, oh, we didn't murder the king. What are you talking about? Lady Macbeth got us drunk. They would remember that. So, here we go, Macbeth. I'll let this all play and then we'll talk about it.
Be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment. No, man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pauser, reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin, laced with his golden blood, and his gash stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannily breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Oh, help me, Hansel.
Okay, so a few things here. Let's look at this line. So Macbeth actually says some wise things. Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? So who could be angry and calm all at the same time? So it's like my emotions got too much of me. No man. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood. So he's, he's king, royalty, silver, gold. And his gash stabs look like a breach in nature. A breach is like a hole in nature. So it's like someone had stabbed nature itself. Nature, order, chaos. The murderers steeped in the color of their trades. They're in red now. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make loves known? So who could refrain from killing them that loved the king? I loved the king so much I couldn't hold myself back. And then, help me, Hento, look to the lady. Lady Macbeth faints. I am 99% sure she's acting. I've heard someone say that, oh, this might be legitimate because Macbeth isn't doing a good job of covering up. But no, I think she's faking, fainting to get everyone to take off their, to have them be distracted. Now Malcolm, the king's first son, who's now the heir of Scotland, he should be the king right now, says to his brother,
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
Why are we holding our tongues? We've heard that before, that so many may claim this argument for ours. Other people are talking about this and taking charge. We are the number one, people this affects. We should be talking about this.
Be spoken here where our fate hidden in auger hole may rush and seize us. Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed, nor our strong.
Let's away, let's go. Our tears are not yet brewed. Yeah, let's leave.
Sorrow upon the fruit of motion.
Look to the lady! And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
Okay, so Banquo does some proclaiming. So when we have our naked frailties hid, when we've gotten dressed, because we're all in our pajamas, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Let's do the CSI crime investigation and figure out what has happened. We're afraid. In the great hand of God, I stand. Their syntax, of course, should be I stand in the great hand of God. He's saying, I'm innocent of this. I am on the side of God. Against the undivulged pretense, I fight. Against syntax, I fight against these bad things. And then Macbeth will say, so do I. Oh no, sorry, Macduff, so do I.
So do I. So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well,
So let's get dressed and let's meet.
what will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England. To Ireland I.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's not consort with them. Someone here is unfelt in their sorrow. Someone here is the murderer. So we can't trust someone here. I'll go to England, I'll to Ireland. To Ireland I. So, to Ireland I, there's just no verb there. That's a syntax thing. So they're going to split up. Now, why? Well, now if someone wants to kill them, they need to send at least 2 assassins, because they're going to different countries. They, split up. There's less of a chance of something happening to both of them.
Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer.
It'll keep us both safe.
Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near and blood, the near and bloody.
There's daggers in men's smiles. Yeah, when they smile at us, those are daggers that want to kill us. We can't be here. It's too unsafe for us.
A shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim.
So the murderous shaft that's an arrow shaft, like a bow and arrow. This shaft that shot our father hath not yet lightened. It's not done yet. And our safest thing to do is avoid the aim. Let's get out of the target of whoever's here.
Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away.
Therefore to horse, let's go to horse, let's leave. And let's not be dainty, let's not take our time.
Warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Yeah, and let's leave. There's no mercy left here. It's too dangerous for us. And the scene is over.